when you turn on your CNC and the bit decides to just go straight down, or maybe it goes straight up and just hovers for a quick second. Going up might not be an issue, but when it goes straight into the stock, it can completely ruin a piece. What's happening here is that your safe retract is not set up properly. To fix this, we're going to head over into Fusion 360 and go into your NC program. Here, you're going to have an area for safe retract. Now, by default, it's set to either G28 or G53, and these have to deal with the machine coordinates. If you're like me, you have no idea where your machine coordinates actually are, so I like to set this to clearance height. This way, it goes up to the clearance height you have programmed inside of your models and your cutting programs. The next mistake looks very similar to the first one, but what happens is it goes to its safe retract height, and then it just plunges straight into the board and starts cutting. And you might have a weird shape like this. Another way this failure might appear is if it actually cuts above the board. And what happened here is that you zeroed it to the wrong WCS or work coordinate system. This one we're going to fix in the setup. For this setup, I set my zero to the top of the stock, but I zeroed my bit to the spoilboard. So it thinks the top of the stock is actually the spoilboard, and that's why it went straight in and then started cutting into the spoilboard because it didn't know where it was. There's two fixes for this. One, and it's the one I did, was I'll just zero it to the top of the stock on the machine, but you can also go in to Fusion 360 and change your work coordinate system here. Now, if you want it at the bottom or the top, you can easily pick it. I finally got a piece to actually cut out, but then this happens. It does the pockets, it goes through, cuts it out, and then it pops up, wobbles, and then jams the bit and eventually blows the fuse on the machine. When a part pops out like this, what's generally happen is you don't have enough support, or what I like to use is tabs. So we're going to add tabs to this. We're going to go into our contour toolpath. And under the profile section, there's a tabs category. So you'll click your tabs, and then I like to add them manually. You're going to set distance to 0, and then you can just go in and add them manually. This way, you don't get tabs in weird locations like the corners. You can pick straight flats that are really easy to cut through. Now that the tabs are added, we should finally be able to get a piece actually cut out. This piece actually looks pretty good, but there are telltale signs that something's wrong. You can see that we have a deep groove going all the way around the perimeter. Now, a small groove is okay, but when you're looking at something deep like this, there's something else going on. And for this one, it's that we didn't measure our stock. So our stock inside of Fusion 360 is wrong. 3/4 inch plywood is never actually 3/4 of an inch. For this piece, it's actually 0.72. And to go that, we're going to go into our CAD model, and I knew this mistake was going to happen, so I just did it as a parametric change. So I'm just going to go into my equations, making 0.72, check my dimensions, and it should be good to go. Over in the manufacturing tab, we'll just regenerate our equations and try to get this piece cut out. We finally have a decent part cut out, but now when I put them together, they're incredibly loose. They just flop all over the place, and nobody wants a part that flops all over the place. And when this happens, the first place to check will be the bit you selected for your programs. Now, I picked a 1/8 inch bit, but on my tool, on my machine, I used a 1/4 inch bit. So what happened was we're cutting way wider than the program was expecting. It doesn't know you have the right bit in, so that's up to you to make sure. So the other possibility is if you program for a 1/4 inch bit, but you actually used a smaller bit, it's not even going to be close in the opposite direction. It's going to be nowhere close to being actually fit into the part. So once we go into Fusion and we fix this, we'll rerun again, and hopefully it comes out to a decent looking part. One way you can make sure that you don't make any of these mistakes in the future is to download my CNC pre-run checklist that allows you to take notes and make sure that you can get a perfect cut next time. I put in the right bit, made it another go, my stock thickness is correct, and I have 2 perfectly cut out pieces. But when I put them together, there's obvious interference. And it's right at these corners. They're rounded corners. You can't fit a square peg into a round hole. So to be able to fix this, we're going to add dog bones into the corner of this female pocket and then the internal corners of this male area. That's always funny, isn't it? And for this video, I'm going to do this the right way and dimension each one. But if you're interested in my little cheat, make sure you subscribe. And one of my next videos coming up is going to be how to make dog bones extremely quickly and easily. For 4 corners, it's not a big deal, but if you have a whole bunch, being able to cheat a little bit makes your life a lot easier. So the way I like to do it is draw a construction line from the corner just out a little bit and make it 45 degrees. Then I can use this 3-point circle so it fits on there perfectly, dimension it to size, and then do this for all the internal corners. Once we have that, we have to go in and reprogram Fusion 360. With the new pockets, it won't recognize that we can just regenerate, so we have to go in and select them again. Once we do that, and we have your post, we're ready to try again. So we have our dog bones in all of our corners, both our female pocket and our male pocket. But when we go together, it seems like they should fit in perfectly, but there's just too much interference and you still can't get them together. And this is the most technical issue we're going to face today. And it's because the material has deflection when you cut into it, the bit has deflection, the machine has deflection. So what we're going to do is add tolerance, which is basically extra space for your parts to fit together. Now, depending on your machine, if you have a 10,000 pound Mazak or Haas versus if you just have a 6090 machine, they are going to be a little bit different. But I find a really good place to start is 10 thousandths around everything. So I'm going to add 10 thousandths around this entire pocket, and then 10 thousandths on this entire mating area, including the depth and the dog bone. That will leave this flat area the same. And we do that so that it doesn't bottom out. It forces these corners to actually sit flush on the mating part. It's simple enough to do. For the pocket, you're going to create a sketch, you're going to double click, and that'll highlight the entire thing, including the dog bones, and then we're just going to expand it out 10 thousandths of an inch, 0.01. And then extrude it to the bottom of the pocket. For this one, it's a little bit more nuanced, but not too bad. You're going to select the lines individually, so you'll select your dog bones and all these lines going all the way to the other dog bone. You can do the same thing. You're going to create an offset line, 10 thousandths of an inch, and then we can connect the dog bones back to this shoulder. Press OK. We'll extrude this down to the bottom and remake our programs again. Finally, something that actually goes together perfectly. Wrong one. Finally, something that actually goes together perfectly. It's nice and tight. There's almost no movement going this way. It doesn't wobble. We were able to fix some of the mistakes that are going to pop up on your CNC journey. What mistake do you keep running into? Let me know in the comments. But right now, those 7 mistakes, we finally have a part that fits together perfectly. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want to see that dog bone video coming up in the future.